Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Patrick here from All Things Mathematics, and moving on to another example dealing with linear algebra. Here we're going to be working on some matrix algebra, more specifically multiplying these pairs of matrices over here, right? So notice here we got these two pairs that are multiplying. Now, if you notice, what kind of a matrix is this? How many rows are there? Well, there's 2 rows by 3 columns, right? We always state the matrices, rows by columns, and then notice that the matrix that you're multiplying it by, how many rows are there? 3 by 1 column. Okay, and whenever you're multiplying matrices, basically these two middle numbers always have to be the same. Okay, if they're not the same, then that means the two matrices cannot multiply. So if this was like a 1 by 3 matrix, right, if we flipped it over and we just had 1 row instead of 1 column, it wouldn't be able to multiply. The 1 and the 3, the middle terms, would not be the same. And basically what's going to happen is these cancel out like that, and so our final matrix is going to be 2 rows by 1 column like that. We know that our final matrix is going to be in this format, right? So it just helps ahead of time knowing what you are going for, right? It's going to be 2 rows, one column matrix. So if we put that over here, it's going to be 2 rows and 1 column. So we're basically only going to have values right here. Okay, now how are we going to get each of these values? Well, this first value here, notice that it's the first row and just 1 column. So we're going to have to multiply these values here together, right? So it would be like -10 times 3 plus 11 times -9 plus 3 times 2, like that, which is -30 minus 99 plus 6, like that, which is going to end up being what? -123. So that's going to be this first entry right there. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have the second row multiplied by the column in order to get this entry right here. So what's going to happen? 3 times 3 plus -1 times -9 plus -4 times 2. So this is going to be 9 plus 9 minus 8. So that's going to equal 10, like that. And that's going to be our final matrix. Notice that it's a 2 by 1, 2 rows, 1 column, -123, and 10. And then the second pair here, so notice that this first pair, what do we got? We got 3 rows by 2 columns. So this is a 3 by 2 matrix. And then we're going to be multiplying it by 2 rows and 4 columns, like that. So notice these cancel out. So what's our final matrix going to be? It's going to be a 3 by 4 matrix, right? So we know basically that our final matrix here is going to be 3 rows. So let's maybe put a circle, circle, circle. You know what, for now I'm going to erase this. So 3 rows and then 4 columns. Term here, term here, term here, term here, term here, term here, and then term there, like that for the last column. Like that. That's basically what our final matrix is going to be. 3 rows by 4 columns, right? If you're multiplying a 3 by 2 with a 2 by 4 matrix, like that. Okay, so how are we going to get these? Well, this first term here, what are we going to do? Well, notice that it's the first row and it's the first column, right? So we multiply the rows here. Okay, it's going to be the first row here, and then the column, right? So here what we're doing is we're multiplying the rows, and here we're multiplying the columns. That's where we're matching it, right? We're matching the rows with the columns, like that. And so what would we have? -3 times 6 is -18, plus 1 times -3, so that's going to be what? -21, like that. Okay, then moving on to this one, notice we have the second row, but still the first column, right? So we're going to stay with this, but now we're going to be multiplying here. So it's going to be 3 times 6, 18, plus -2 times -3, which is +6, which would give us 24, like that. Then over here, first column, so we're staying here, first column, but it's going to be the third row. So 5 times 6, 30, plus -1 times -3 is 3, so this is going to end up being 33, like that. Okay, now moving on to the second column, so we're going to get these values here in the second column of our final matrix, we're going to have to use the second column of the second matrix that we're multiplying, right? So we're going to be using this column. So here, first row, second column, first row, second column. So -3 times -2 is 6, plus 1 times -1. So it's going to be what, 5 right there? Then we're going to have second column, second row, second row, second column. So 3 times -2, -6, plus -2 times -1, which is +2. So that's going to give us what? -4, like that. And then third row, second column, third row. So 5 times -2, -10, plus 1. That's going to give us what? -9, like that. Then moving on to the third column here. So we're going to be using this column right there, right? So third column, first row, third column, first row. So 7 times -3, -21, plus -1. So that's going to be -22. 7 times 3, 21, plus -2 times -1, which is +2, so that's going to be 23, like that. And then 7 times 5, 35, plus 1, so 36, like that. And then next, fourth column, we're going to be using this, right? So fourth column, first row, fourth column, first row, so -3 times 1, -3, plus 3, 0. 3 times -2 is, sorry, what am I saying? 3 times 1 is 3. -2 times 3 is -6. So we'll have 3 minus 6, which is -3, like that. And then this last row, last column, 5 times 1, 5, -3. We end up with a 2, like that. Okay, and then that basically is our final 3x4 matrix, right? So it's always the first matrix you're multiplying, you can circle the rows. The second matrix, you can circle the columns, and then you just basically match them up in order to get your final new matrix. And that's a wrap for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to see more videos like this, please go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all of the videos are organized by chapter, by section. If you feel like you need tutoring at any point, you could also hit me up. My contact details are on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.